Hello, it's Chloe here from Border River Flowers. We're going to do something a bit different today. I'm going to do a bouquet of flowers as I walk around the garden, so we'll show you some nice close-up of that, and you get to have a look at how I cut each flower as well, and how I put the bouquet together. So hopefully it's something a little bit different and enjoyable. With the zinnias, we do the wobble test as well to see if it's ready to pick. So that one isn't wobbling much, and then there's one this one's all wobbly. So you just do that before picking them. That one's not too bad. That one's really a bit wobbly still. If they're too wobbly, they'll just flop once you cut them. And these zinnias here are the ones that I said have got a bit of fungal issues because I've got them planted a bit too closely. So that's what this here is on the leaves. And any of these side branches, so the buds are probably going to flop, and even if they don't flop, they're just going to absorb a lot of the water and whatnot from the main head. It's much better if it hasn't got all those buds on it. Got a little bit of status in here because I planted quite a few status here and only a handful survived, so I just left it tucked in here. I don't think it was the smartest idea though, because it's not that happy about it. The ones that are right down in the middle are not doing so good. They're a bit crowded out in there, and also got a few fungal issues now too, I think. Always make sure you clean the stems back, so that, like, the more you clean the stems back, the better. Anything that's going to be under the water especially. And I find basing up with foliage with some flowers good. Some flowers, not sunflowers. But other flowers work quite well without having that foliage with it. But I find the zinnia is a bit hard to use without foliage, but I don't have foliage here right at the moment. Okay, I think we're back on track there. Camera lady keeps having giggle and burstages. So yeah, what I was saying is I do like to use a bit of foliage usually with zinnias. With any of like your flat type flowers like zinnias and gerbras, it's easier if you've got a bit of foliage to hold them apart, because otherwise they just really cram up against each other. I don't think I can show you how I cut these because they're that bushy, we'd get lost in there if we tried to show you. They sure love and life here. So just like these four, there's not much to them, but they just give it a bit of a pop of something different, something you can give the bouquet a bit of airy flow with and sit a bit above the rest of everything else. I mean, I could probably come along with the whippersnapper and cut this off to harvest and it'd still be back there tomorrow, I think. So it's certainly not fussy, which is a good thing. It's nice to have some things that you don't have to baby along every step of the way. It's usually better to harvest straw flower in the afternoon because, before it gets too late in the afternoon, because they're flowers, so you can see what flowers are open and what ones aren't. They close up for the night, makes it a bit more difficult to harvest late and early. But they're a fairly forgiving flower in general, so. And I still, when I'm doing still cross my stems over. That's one of the biggest things to getting your bouquets nice and airy. And with your main flowers, try to work in odd numbers, makes a big difference too. With this celosia, it is shorter than it actually should be, but just cut it as deep as possible, leave a growth node there. But flies. These two zinnias here, see how they want to keep jumping together here. So I might just find something to get them to stay a bit separate. Just don't like having them jammed up onto each other. So I just sort of use other flowers to manipulate it a bit. These scabiosa. I won't put any of them in here, but they've opened up properly now. And then a blue one here. It might be a bit short still. So with this Sweet William, even I'm trying to figure out what's the best way. That sends out so many flower heads out from a similar area, so they're not the easiest things to harvest. I haven't really harvested a lot of them because most of them the stems are a bit short on, so I haven't picked a lot of them. I haven't got much of this Veronica, it's the one that I'm still cutting back. And that's probably a little bit too, that main one's probably a little bit too open to use. Maybe a little bit more closed than that. But I'm going to pop it in here, give it that bit of white lift. A couple more here. I'm going to swallow a fly for sure here shortly. And with it you can cut it really deep, even if there's not a growth node there, they still tend to shoot back, which is nice. So here, see here, if you just had a quick glance at it, you think you'd need to cut it there. But see right down here, I can cut it right down here, and there's two little shoots here, and it'll shoot back from them. Just to get, if you need to get the stem length. And just like anything, if you cut it too short, up too high, you'll end up with the next shoots being, or the next stems being too short. What colour lizzies should we go for? Lemon, pink, white, or mauve? It's not really mauve actually. Still don't know what colour to call it. Hey? White. I might put a lemon, this lemon one in. And again, sort of the same with lisanthus actually. If you look down here, they're already sending up its next lot of shoots here. So if I cut that right down in there, those are still all going to grow just fine. And depending on which variety of lisanthus it is, some of them have the side shoots, so these bud shoots right down low, and the flower more above them, and then some other varieties have the flower right down in and like the buds a lot higher. I think there's one of the, I think it's the pink one down here further, I'll show you. It's one that has the bud right nestled back down in amongst the buds. Yeah, here, see, it's like more got the buds up above it, and then yeah, some varieties the flower will sort of sit more up here, and the buds will be more the background colour, background white. The white one's a bit the same too. It's got the flower back down in a bit, and the buds, which it works well because having a variety of both, because the buds still look nice sitting up above. I can't say enough good things about lisanthus. I'm pretty sure everybody's sick of hearing what I have to say about lisanthus. They're quite easy to grow. Thrips do love them, so you have to be careful of that. But they're easy to grow, and the flowers last ages in a vase. So I call them the unglorified rose, because they're pretty like a rose, well, prettier in my opinion. They have a longer vase life, and they're much easier and less fussy to grow. And I'm all about less fussy, easier to grow plants. And then this one here, this one's called mid grape, and I was expecting it, from the pictures of it, I was expecting it to be darker. Look, this one's got two open. Yeah, I was expecting it to be a darker colour. It's quite mauve. It's almost a pinky mauve. It's I was expecting it to be like a deeper grape colour. But anyway, this works as well in my next lot, or the latest ones I've got planted is like a darker red colour, so that'll be a darker colour, because I like having a bit of the lighter colours and the darker colours to work with. I'm not a huge one on colour palettes. Yeah, there's some colours that don't look great together, but in general I love a nice bright mixed colour bunch of flowers, and I find they tend to sell well for me, so that's good. And now I think this will be the last thing I put in. This is just going to give it a bit of a pop of lightness, because it's just a beautiful airy fairy flower. Just go for like, I don't want any real bulky ones, I just go for nice. I haven't got any real bulky ones left actually, like big heads of flowers. And yeah, cut them deep as well, because they shoot right up from the bottom. It's a bit short. There's a couple here that got a little bit of a fungal issue when I had them first. Well, I overwintered them, and then when we come into spring they got this bit of a fungal issue, and the centre flower burnt out, the centre shoot burnt out. I'll show you here on this stem what happened. See how the main stem burnt out here, and then it's just sent out all its little side shoots, which that's what happens if you cut them up too high. That's what will happen. You get little short stems like that, which can work if you want to cut all of this, but in a lot of cases that'll be the only choice, is to pick that, and that's just way too short to use in most cases. Just got a spin here, nestle that in there a bit. And I think that has us finished, I think. What do you reckon? And the stems all spiraled. If you didn't spiral your stems, your bouquet would look more like that. That would be the result you'd get. It would be all crammed in. But with this, you see, as the more I let my hand loose, the more it just gives your bouquet that bit of space and air that it needs.